Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Peter Podcast. It's been a while. Uh, I'm here with Zachary again,
What's
but
up,
this time
guys?
we have a special guest. We have Roman Donahue with us. Roman, if you could say a little bit about yourself, your relationship with Peter, anything you want to add here before we start.
Um, I am 21. I've known Peter since
Mm-hmm.
third grade, and he is 100% German. I can clarify.
Mm-hmm.
We're
These are all.
21.
He's 21. So it's been a while since we've recorded an episode. It's been like couple months, but we're back on track. We got a little distracted with life, if you will, but we thought it'd be a great way to return by bringing on our first guest, Roman Donahue. Like you said, he's known Peter for a while, since like third grade. I think he just said. They go back. But today our title is Backseat Gaming. Um, and it's in quotations for a few reasons here. We're gonna start off with the first reason, which is a little experience Peter had in the back seat of his Ford Fusion. Now, I'm going to put a picture on screen here of a Ford Fusion, the back seat of a Ford Fusion and whatnot. But I think Zachary has like the most, feelings towards this topic here. So I'll let you go ahead and start talking about this little situation here.
Well, yeah. So,
Mhm.
basically, Peter was in the Ford Fusion.
His Ford Fusion. Or his like dad's, I think. Something like that. Not his, but like
It
his
was his aunt.
family's.
It was his
His
aunt.
His
aunt's.
dad, his aunt.
Roman, you would know. Roman would know. His aunt? Wait, really? This is new to me.
It was his aunt's Ford
Oh,
Fusion.
Oh my
So,
oh
god.
my.
the back of the Ford Fusion carried his, not just his kids, if you know what I mean, but his aunt's too.
It's disgusting. Fuck that Peter guy. He's gross for that.
Dude, that's I didn't know that. That's bad. Oh my. Okay. Just keep going. Just
So
keep going.
basically, Peter one night got a little lonely
Yeah.
and is lying in his bed after a long day of gaming. And he went to Tinder
Mhm.
and he found a match. And he picked her up because he's a fucking loser. And he picked him up in the Ford Fusion and just things
Things happened in the
one thing
backseat.
led to another,
Yeah.
and
I'm sorry, why are you reading like we're popcorn reading?
Yeah, I don't know why he's being like that.
I'm
But
just trying to
regardless,
remember.
it is quite old. It is quite old. It's
It
been a few
was a
months
long
now.
time
It
ago.
was a long time ago. But basically, the back seat is the main point here. He got the girl. Her name was Margot, I believe. At least he told us her name was Margot.
Yeah, we don't know if
So
that's
we're
true.
just calling her Margot at this point. But her name was Margot. He picked her up in the Ford Fusion, which we just learned right now was his aunt's car. Makes it even better. Um, but something interesting is that this was actually Peter's first time.
Yeah, this was his first time a random Tinder hookup.
Yeah, in the
It's
back
quite
seat of his
gross.
aunt's car. A little bit of backseat gaming going on back there. And the aftermath of this was actually quite horrible because we kind of touched on, I think, in the first episode. He like didn't tell us about it right away, and he
Peter
would
was
like
Roadhog. She was Genji.
For real.
Peter does love his Roadhog, but for a while he didn't tell us that this happened. But like we kind of knew something happened because he was like he was like acting different. He was acting a
Yeah.
bit
He was
more.
acting like the big guy on
Yeah,
campus, bro.
yeah. He was, he started calling people virgins. Like he would never do that.
Yeah,
And
he
he just like
never said
started,
that. And then
yeah,
he raged. He started raging in Overwatch. And he's like,
yeah.
"Shut up! You're probably a fucking virgin."
Yeah. He would say stuff like that. And he denies it. I don't know why he denies it, but we all
He
picked up
still
on it.
denies it, but
Yeah, it's a little weird. But it kind of led to that. He wouldn't go in detail. Thank God. Oh my God. Thank the Lord he wouldn't go in detail. But it's a little bit of backseat
wanted
gaming
him
there.
to.
A little bit of backseat gaming there. Most people actually don't know about that. Like even Roman here didn't really have too much information about that, which is quite interesting. Kind of a low key thing. But moving on to the real title here, Backseat Gaming. Now this is kind of Roman's specialty here. Peter in video games, just with
Talk
backseating in
about.
general, is
Let's
just
talk
horrible.
about. Let's go back
Oh,
in
we're going
time.
back.
Let's go way back in time to when we were
Okay.
on Xbox
Mhm.
Good
playing
old days.
Siege,
Yep.
Rainbow Six Siege. Let's talk about those days. We all have some stuff to say about Peter's Rainbow days.
I know Roman does. I know Roman does.
Definitely do. Yes.
So Roman, is there any like specific instances of backseating from Peter that you kind of like have burned into your mind that you want to like talk about, get off your chest a little bit, show the world?
Yeah. So at first in Rainbow, it wasn't that bad, and then probably a little later on, I would say probably a couple months later, he really just got heavily involved in backseat gaming. I actually started to believe that he liked to die just to supervise me and tell me what to do.
I I actually remember us talking about that. That was a while ago. This is a long time ago, by the way. Like this is like I said, this was
A
back
lot
on
of years.
Xbox, and we are all like, transitioned to PC,
It's
and
like
it's
3 years
yeah, it
ago.
was a while ago. And because Peter was always like trying to be the best at Siege, right? And Roman, not the best, right? We all know Roman was not the best at Siege. But for some reason, Peter like targeted you, didn't he, in Siege? Like in all games, really. He kind of just like targeted you, right? I
Um,
mean,
yeah, just to switch up the subject, if we're talking 3 years
uh-huh.
ago,
Uh-huh.
you can't forget about Dajim's ex freshman year. Um, I don't know if he's
My
brought that
what?
up yet. But
Wait, what?
she was 6'3". I don't know if he's gonna,
Mm.
elaborate on that or not because he's trying to keep that a secret.
Of
But
course,
What?
this is not the Dajim slash Zachary podcast. I don't think
Dog.
that's true,
What?
but I don't know where that came from. Talking about Peter backseating in Siege. Roman, what?
that off there, it's been on my chest for a while.
Oh, I see.
So,
I don't think that's true.
Bro, wait.
nothing.
Say everything you just said again, dude. I'm
What is-
confused.
I'm actually
No,
interested.
I
My
just said
ex that is
I said
6'3".
Dajim's ex, as he's known, or his real name, Gobstopper 33. But his ex was
Gobstopper
6'3".
33.
Bro, I'm so confused. I'm actually
I don't know what Roman's talking about anymore. Roman, you
I
good?
actually don't know what you're talking about.
Do you remember this
I
freshman year when
No.
Mr.
what?
Dajim was a freshman?
So
Yeah.
Leaf is the one that told me that you
Leaf
had
is me.
an ex.
How did we get to
Dude,
Rainbow Six Siege?
bro,
Peter?
wait. Hang
How
on.
did we go from Rainbow Six
Wait,
Peter
wait. I don't
to
remember this.
this
On
is
my
not
mom, I don't
real, Roman? I
remember
don't know
this.
what you're talking about.
I don't think this is me.
Oh,
I
then that
don't.
must be okay.
Anyways, I don't know what just happened. I don't know where that came from. We were
Bro,
talking about Siege with Peter backseating you.
Oh yeah, I'm
Eh,
sorry. Sorry.
yeah. Maybe for another day. I don't know. So, can you just give us some more examples here?
Yeah,
Go
of
in depth a little
do
bit.
you want me to just elaborate on just Xbox in general
I
or like
mean, really,
recent ones? It can be
whatever,
recent.
anything you want, anything you want. Just kind of give some information about it here.
Okay. So how about I start with when Backseat Gaming started with
Uh
Peter?
huh.
Okay.
Go
So
for
it
it.
actually started on 360 on FIFA and
Oh, I didn't know. This is news to me.
yep, FIFA. We played a lot of FIFA, played a lot of Disney Infinity, and we played a lot of
Mm,
Battlefront.
I remember this actually now. Yes.
And I used to go over to Peter's house
Hmm.
and we would play a lot of video games. And, if he lost, then he would not be happy. But he would always love the
Very
backseat.
competitive. Very competitive.
He would point to the screen. Even though it was
Oh,
the screen, he'd point to the screen and try to tell me what to do.
I believe it. I've actually never heard that, but I could definitely see Peter doing that. I don't know what it is, but
bro,
there's like
fuck that
something.
kid.
There's something with you, Roman. I don't know why he's always on you and nobody else. You know what I mean? Do you like have any information on that?
It's probably, I knew him the longest. And
Hmm.
if you actually didn't know, he actually, first day of school, I remember in third grade when he transferred over, he sat with me and
Hmm.
was like, "Hi, my name's
That's a
Peter."
long time
Your
ago.
name? Yes, it is. So it's probably because I've known him personally the
Yeah,
longest.
I guess.
You guys
So
have some bad blood.
I think it's really he just wants me to improve because I think he sees himself in me.
Oh, maybe, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe. So then, when did
I
like
think,
Austin meet him? How about that? When did Austin meet him? Like around the
Probably
same time?
20 minutes later that same day.
Okay, so why is he not as harsh on him?
You know,
dude, he is.
bringing in
Is he
Austin.
though?
I think
Roman is the
he's
punching
actually not.
bag.
You're right.
Roman
Roman,
has admitted, Peter's admitted that Roman's the punching bag for Peter. Like, why is it Roman?
I'm
Peter,
the punching bag.
Peter picks on the nicest kid,
Hmm. True, because
the guy that
Roman,
won't
yeah,
bully him back.
yeah, because Roman won't fight back. Roman's too nice. He won't like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
It's
he,
really that I don't care.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
I actually
Either or.
yeah.
The only time I care is when he's like just consistently backseat.
Roman, do this. Roman, you Roman, you need to reinforce this wall. Roman, come on. He often says you have no thumbs. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so he's making fun of a car accident I was in as a kid.
Oh, that's true. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do
Pretty
have
Okay.
messed
I have
up.
photo evidence. I do have
Hmm.
scars on the side of my thumb from surgery. I had to get
Hmm.
screws in my thumb.
Yeah.
So, he makes
I
fun of that.
thought I had the silly
Actually,
Man.
thumbs.
adding on, he did make fun of Austin's thumbs when
He
uh
did.
He
in a car
No,
did. Oh
he
my
made fun
gosh, this
of
is true.
like
so what happened was
his
we went over.
hands.
Yep,
Yeah.
Peter and I went over to Austin's house. Probably it was 2 days after his car accident,
Mm.
and his both of his hands had stitches and rods in them. And a bunch of people came over and gave Austin, like cookies to
Yeah,
get
yeah, yeah. I remember this. I remember
like a
this.
nice gesture. And Peter asked me to toss over cookies.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
Peter said, "Nice hands," sitting next to
yeah.
Austin, who was injured, crippled, and
Ah,
tired.
the car
Dude,
accident.
that's
Yeah.
so funny.
Peter's. We were here to talk about backseat gaming, but I'm just learning. Peter's a horrible person at this point.
Yeah, for real, bro.
Like
Actually, backseat harassment, if you wanna.
backseat harassment, if you want to call it
For
that too.
real.
Uh huh. Damn. I mean, I'm learning stuff. I forgot all about this stuff.
It's really if you actually know Peter as much as I do,
Mm-hmm.
if you
In the third
really
grade.
just, dumb it down, it comes to the more he knows you and then the more he makes fun of you because he
Yeah.
knows what you're comfortable with and he knows kind of what you don't care if he says and what he cares.
Just a big
Interesting.
bully.
He just kind of seems like a bully, doesn't he? When you paint it like this,
I mean, we've always called Peter the bully.
who's
He
we? Wait
is.
a minute. Who's we? I have not called Peter the bully.
Bortz and I.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. I see. I see. I see.
Makes
No,
sense.
even currently, I know I'm jumping everywhere,
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
currently, Christmas of 2020 break,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
he we played Sea of Thieves quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
if you remember,
I
and
remember.
Vividly.
he was if you want to play on the term backseat sailing, so he
Man,
would
fuck
tell us
that
what
guy,
to
bro.
do.
Backseat sailing.
If I might speak a little bit, I was
Yeah.
in charge of boarding up the boat with
Uh,
cannons and bucketing
oh,
while
I do remember this.
they got to have the fun of shooting
Yeah, I
all the
actually
ghost
remember that.
ships.
I remember being in the
And
Discord for
then
some of
this,
this.
the second I asked for help because Peter wasn't doing his job, but then I had to pick up for him, and
I remember this.
the boat sank, and somehow it was my fault.
And Peter blamed you.
I remember
And he
that
was
too.
yeah, and he was telling you how to what you
Like,
should have done. I remember this.
I couldn't
Dude,
do any
I
more.
hate Peter.
I
What
couldn't
is
have done
this?
any more, but
Dude,
somehow it still lands on
I
me.
remember.
Yep.
I
Dude, I
hate
forgot
that
all about
guy.
that. Backseat sailing? I remember like we would fight the the
Fuck
ghost
Peter,
fleets or
bro.
whatever they were, and we would do
And
those like
you would yell at
those
me.
missions or whatever.
Yell at
Yeah.
me to go down and board, get ready to bucket and
He'll
board.
just tell you how to play the game pretty much. Like, it's like he had
Oh
two
yeah,
controllers.
and
One he used controlled with
he
his mouth and one was his
yep,
hands.
and he
Yeah.
used all the special cannons. And remember, also, he didn't
Hmm.
spend any of his money.
That is true.
I had to spend money to upgrade the
So if
ship
you
and
just a little context here. If you guys don't know, like in Sea of Thieves, there's like a shop and whatnot for like cosmetic items, I believe, right? And whatnot, decorate your boat or whatever. And Peter would never like spend his currency to do that. Doubloons. I don't know. and he would make Roman do it. He would just kind of like pilot Roman around and whatnot, and he does this in mini games as well. With just kind of, he kind of just. I like the term bully now. I like the term bully. He does bully you in video games. Does anybody else do that to you? I don't think anyone really does it to you besides
No,
him.
no.
That's what
It's
I'm
just
saying. I
Peter.
don't.
Which I said
Plus,
is, if real, it honestly is. The better he knows you, the more he makes fun of you, which is
so
very odd, but that's
I
it's
think
true.
Peter knows all of us pretty well, but I don't see him doing that to anybody but you. I don't know why.
I mean, no offense, but personally know him. I
Oh,
can't.
obviously.
Um,
So what about
not
Austin
not
then?
to throw shade at anybody, but I've never anonymously sent beans to his location.
That is true. Hey, we
Uh,
haven't. That's an episode for a future, for more foreshadowing. We love foreshadowing here.
Okay, I didn't
That
know.
Zachary's 6'3" girlfriend that we didn't know existed till now. The Bean scandal. So much going on here.
The and the
bro, what about bro?
Dude, we can't get back on this. I don't know what he was talking about.
What are you
He was talking. I don't.
so confused?
we can talk
I'm
uh,
six.
off podcast. Off
Alright,
podcast. We can
off
talk
cast.
about
fuck
it.
it. Next podcast we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about your 6'3" girlfriend that no one knows exists except for Roman.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it off podcast.
Off the cast, or maybe in the next episode. Hey, future episode confirmed. 6'3" girlfriend for Zach. Interesting.
It's Peter.
It's yeah. So
Yes.
trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover here about
What you may talk
backseat
about?
gaming.
Oh, I was gonna say how like when I met Peter's family.
I mean, if
Okay,
you
talk about that.
want, go for it.
It's your podcast.
Because I'm sure it'll like lead into like the
Okay.
development of Peter, of how
You know,
he, of why he
Peter-
bullies
That
you.
guy,
Any
that guy
information you
just
can give.
fucking sucks.
This is kind of like this
So-
is not. It's kind of just like your time, Roman. Like
So,
it's titled
okay.
Backseat Gaming, but like this is your special guest, so I don't mind what you want to do here.
So, probably 2 weeks after I first met Peter at school, he invited me over to his house, just
Mhm.
hang out. That's when I met his father, who I
Mhm.
didn't know. He just told me, he's like, yeah, my dad's a little tall. I was like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And I go, and this is when, I go over. I live like 5 minutes away from Peter, and I saw his dad, 6'7". And he's a big German guy, very strong German
Of
accent.
course.
Holy fuck.
At
course.
first, when his father was talking to me, I didn't know what he was saying. Like it was hard for me to, understand what he was saying, but the more and more I, came over and
Mhm.
hung out, the better I could understand Peter's father.
I've heard some stories. I've also heard him in the
Do you-
background sometimes.
Peter also was a very big Skylanders person, but he hid that
Ah.
from
I
me.
remember that.
He hid that.
I remember that.
He had a bunch of Skylanders and a bunch of Webkins, if you remember Webkins.
Mhm.
But
He
what
still
did
brings them
was-
out sometimes.
Yeah, when we would come over, or when I would come over, he would hide him in his basement.
So you didn't see him?
I did see him.
So why would he hide them?
Because
I'm
he didn't
learning
want
stuff.
he didn't want other people to know. There's a lot of things about Peter, like
Ooh.
you
I
know,
mean,
you
I don't know
have,
if we can't cover all here. I mean,
No,
if you get
That's-
some really good ideas, we can make a
Guys,
whole topic
that's-
and like a whole episode about
I'd
it.
say
That's really odd.
Peter's two biggest insecurities, I'd say, would be his Webkins and Skylanders, and that he in third grade he had kind of like a helmet haircut, and he had a big
Oh,
he had a big forehead for his age, and so he hated when his forehead would show when he was a kid.
interesting.
That's
We are
why he
learning
had-
here.
His other insecurities are girls. I'm gonna be honest.
Margot though,
Yeah,
the
like
backseat gaming of
backseat.
Margot.
like he gets so nervous.
Poor
It's
Peter.
funny.
I mean, do I feel bad for him? No. I mean, you
Yeah,
know
like-
why?
Never,
He's
Yeah.
a
never
bully.
felt
You know what I
that.
mean?
Never
You
felt
can hear
that.
from Roman's few instances. He's kind of just not a nice person. You know what I mean?
Actually, I'm going to see Mr. Peter Blackenborg
Hmm.
very soon, in about, I'd say a little over a week and a half.
What are you
Okay.
gonna do with him?
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting.
We can talk about that off podcast.
Off by. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. We'll move on from that. But I see what you're saying here. I trying to think of any instances I have with Peter's backseating, because that's like but I don't really have anything that compares to what Roman has said. Roman, you kind of
Yeah,
caked it all
same.
nicely here. Like you are the punching bag for Peter when it comes to backseat gaming. We also got a little taste of just kind of your relationship with Peter, which I think is great. Amazing stuff. I learned something, so that means I know others will learn, of course. Is there anything else you want to say, Roman? This is your time. It means that will be
You
here
have
all
any
the time.
more questions for me I can answer?
I don't really have anything specific. It was kind of just free balling, anything you wanted to say,
I can
really.
talk more on Backseat Gaming if you want me
Of
to.
course, sure. If you have more examples, that'd be amazing.
I mean, we've been playing Siege all together for, like you said, a very long time.
Mhm.
And then I would say after Sea of Thieves and Siege, we moved on to a game called Overwatch,
Oh, we
which
talk a little bit about
Peter,
Yup.
Overwatch last
yeah,
episode.
just to get a little bit into it. Yeah,
Mhm.
Peter was really, really um into Overwatch, and he did not like to lose.
Yeah, what's funny was you were actually
Agreed.
a higher rank than him, I believe,
So
in
Peter was a
Overwatch.
bronze,
Yeah, we
and
talked episode
Leaf
2, we
has
talked about
pictures.
this.
Yep,
Yes, sir. We did speak
does have
about
pictures
this.
of it, and he wasn't happy about it. But
Mhm.
guess what? Leaf took the picture, but I got yelled at for it
That is true.
because
That is true.
I,
That says
I
a lot.
Leaf
That
Yeah.
says a
says
lot.
Leaf
Leaf,
is me, by the way, in case anyone.
yes,
Yes.
says to Peter, you laughed at him and said, "I see you are bronze, so I took a picture so you'd never forget." And Peter's response is, "Roman, you still suck."
Yeah, that's actually true. I remember that.
That
Dude, he's
says a lot
angsty or
about Peter.
something.
It's
Like he's just like so controlling over you as well. I don't get it, man.
I don't get it either. I said I think it's just because I've known him the
Yeah, you've
longest,
known him for
and
a long time, and
he
I don't know,
knows
he
he
knows
knows
your
I don't
limits, I
give.
guess. Yeah. Oh my god,
What other
man,
games?
man, what the
Dead
fuck,
by
Peter?
Daylight. Dead by
Dead
Daylight.
by Daylight.
Yep. He always got mad because I wouldn't do the right generator. He wanted me to follow him and do like the
He's
generators
like
with.
he's treating you like a little slave, honestly, at that
It's
point.
crazy because if you remember when we both had to do generators, he wanted me to
Yeah.
sacrifice myself
He
for
just
him
like
to get
saw
away.
you as less than human when we play
He
video
wanted
games.
me to sacrifice myself for him to get away from the killing.
Yeah, and he'd get mad at you if you didn't, kind of thing.
Me if I didn't properly distract, if I
Yeah,
properly didn't put down the forklift pallets.
of
He
course.
yelled at me for not doing the right generators. If I missed one thing when doing the generators, every second he gets, every opportunity. He is a angry German.
Man, I forgot about all this stuff. To be honest, I was when I first like thought of the topic backseat gaming. The first thing that came to mind was like Rainbow Six backseating and like Margot in the backseat. But I forgot about the Overwatch thing, Dead by Daylight. I mean, pretty much every game that you have played with Peter, he kind of does it. Like I'm getting some flashbacks of like some CS:GO times. Like
Yeah,
literally everything you play with him is just a
even though
nightmare
I
for you.
got more kills than him in CS:GO games.
Remember that.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I would just go off with the shotgun.
Would you say you're like a better, I don't know, gamer than Peter, would you say?
See, better I think is very vague because I
Mhm.
think if you're talking about keeping cool and, sportsmanship and,
Yeah.
teamwork,
Mhm.
100%.
Okay.
Um,
I
if you
can agree with
mean
that.
I could agree with that, yeah.
I don't really have the time he has
Mhm.
on practicing and getting better at games because I have other things,
Yeah.
and Peter just likes to get good at one game and he focuses a lot of his time at one
That's
game at a
true.
time because he does like to be better than everybody else.
Yeah. So,
Very
okay,
much
you're
agree.
better in your own aspects then.
Yeah, I mean,
So then
so
I guess that doesn't so I would say then that doesn't give him the right to, be so hard on you with backseating. Like if
no,
you have
because
your own strengths, like do your own thing,
like
what gives him the right to do that?
like I said, I've known Peter for what, like
Mhm.
8 years, more than that.
Some more than that, something like that though.
Yeah, 10 years, I think, something like that.
It's been a while for you and him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it just started. I said all the way back when we just played FIFA and Infinity, and that
Playing
was
with the
it.
Skylanders and Webkins, of course.
And I think Peter's first really punching bag before me
Oh,
was
interesting.
actually CPU level 9 bots on Super Smash. So
I actually think you're right about that.
I know I'm right about that because
Oh.
we played a lot of Smash too. Now thinking about it, and I was Wario, and if you know Wario, he can bite people. And
Hmm.
instead of Peter trying to counter it, he would slap the Wii remote out of my hand and say, "Stop that."
What?
I
He's
have
ridiculous.
I have a lot of
Didn't know
stories.
this.
No, I do have a lot of stories about Peter.
Oh my
Another one,
god.
if you want to hear another rage story, I actually beat
Sure.
him in FIFA, the third time I've ever played FIFA, and he tried to suffocate me with a giant red beanbag he kept in front of his TV.
I'm loving this.
It was a, oh no, I'm sorry. It
Look at
was a
that kid,
blue
bro.
beanbag. It was a big blue
Blue
beanbag
beanbag.
and a big red Clifford.
So he's just like a he's just so aggressive. He's aggressive gamer, Peter. He
What's
is.
wrong
Oh
with
my
that
god.
guy?
He just has, I think it just brings out a lot of anger, you know? He
He's like,
gets very frustrated.
yeah, he doesn't know how to control himself, does he?
No, as you know, Selena Gomez once said, "Can't
Mhm.
keep my hands to myself."
That's
True.
very true when it comes to Peter. He's a hard
Big
time with that one.
facts.
All right.
Fuck that guy, bro.
We are just about out of time here. Is there any last words you want to say here, Roman? Well, I'm sure we'll have you on again because this was amazing. But
Yeah.
is there
So,
anything last you want to say? Anything lastly
really,
here?
last thing I'm gonna say is to refer just a little referral to Dajim is what that dog doing?
Very true. Very true. Little inside joke there. Thank you, Roman. I have nothing else to say. Zach, you want to say anything else?
No, I think that's all.
All right. Well,
Fuck
thank you,
Peter
everybody.
Plagenborg.
Thank you, everybody, tuning in.
Fucking hate that
For
kid.
having me on here.
We got a little off track at some points. I think this was great. We talked about Margot, the backseat, the real backseat gaming. Roman Donahue here being the victim, and just some great stories of Peter. I thought it was great. I hope you all enjoyed, and hope to see you all in the next video.